I was 20, alone, with a baby inside me and fear in my chest. His parents chose a different life for him. And he disappeared. Then Lucas appeared, a baker, a man who wasn't afraid. He baked cakes at night. And I watched, slowly believing in the future again. Dylan will always have the best birthday cake, he said. Who's Dylan? Our son. 1 year later, we had a home, laughter, and a love that stays.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
A cake for our son. My name is Emma. Sometimes it feels like my life split into before and after on the exact day I told Anthony the truth. I remember everything down to the smallest detail. The kitchen was flooded with pale morning light, the cup of coffee had gone cold long ago, and my hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I kept repeating the sentence in my head over and over, like rehearsing for a stage where there would be no applause. I'm pregnant, I said. He didn't hug me. He didn't ask how I was feeling. He didn't even look me in the eyes. He just fell silent, and then something cold appeared in his gaze, as if a glass wall had dropped between us. Are you sure? He asked flatly. Yes, I whispered. Anthony stood up, paced around the room, ran a hand through his hair. And in that moment I understood. I was already alone, even though he was still physically there. My parents, he started, then stopped. They won't accept this. I wanted to scream that this was not their life, that this was our child, that I was scared and needed his hand in mine. But he had already decided. A few days later, he told me he was leaving. And not just leaving, running away. His wealthy parents considered me a temporary mistake. A simple girl without status, without a carefully planned future. They wanted a better fate for their son, clean, convenient, and free of responsibility. They sent him to another state, to his Aunt Clara's farm, to work with his cousins, Tom and Noah. So he could think, they said. He didn't think. He forgot. After our breakup, I wasn't living. I was surviving. Panic attacks consumed me. I woke up in the middle of the night, gasping for air, pressing my palm to my stomach as if apologizing to the child for my fear. I sat on the bathroom floor, my back against the cold tiles, repeating, "You'll make it. You have to." I was 20 years old. I didn't know who I would become tomorrow, but I already knew I would become a mother. And do you know what saved me? My parents. My mom just silently wrapped her arms around me, holding me so tightly that I finally allowed myself to cry. My dad said only one sentence. "You are not alone. And you never will be." They didn't judge me. They didn't blame me. They pulled up another chair, for a child who hadn't even been born yet. And in that moment, I decided I would keep this baby. No matter the cost. My life became slow. Walks, doctor visits, silence. One autumn day, I walked into a small cafe near the park. Rain tapped softly against the windows, and suddenly the loneliness became unbearable. "Would you like a warmer seat?" a voice asked. I looked up. He was smiling calmly, not with pity, Not with curiosity. Just human. His name was Lucas. He didn't ask unnecessary questions. He just brought me tea with honey. He remembered that I didn't like noisy places. And one day, noticing my belly, he said, "That's brave. And very beautiful." I didn't fall in love immediately. I was learning to trust again. We walked slowly. He listened to my fears without interrupting. When it got hard, he simply took my hand. And one evening, sitting beside me on a bench, he whispered, "I'm not afraid. If you allow me, I'll stay. Not instead of someone, but with you." I knew it was love when he stayed. He didn't panic. He didn't look for excuses. When my baby moved for the first time, Lucas cried. When I was scared, he breathed with me. Anthony became a memory, painful, but quiet. And I became a woman who survived loss, fear, and betrayal, and did not break. My love is no longer about promises. It's about presence. And when I look at my life now, I know. Sometimes people leave not because we aren't enough, but because they simply aren't capable of staying. Lucas came from a big family. The kind where the air always smells like fresh bread, laughter, and warm milk. His father owned a small neighborhood bakery, not trendy, not loud, but real. Everyone worked there. His mother, sisters, brothers, even nieces and nephews after school. It wasn't just a business, it was a home, where everyone knew that if life got heavy, the dough would be kneaded together. Lucas grew up among flour, warm ovens, and patience. But he wanted more, not fame, but craft. He studied culinary arts and found himself in cakes. His cakes weren't just desserts. Each one was a work of art and flavor. He worked at night, quietly, focused, with love in every movement. His hands knew when the cream was perfect, when the sponge breathed, when the chocolate had the right shine. He could spend hours fixing one edge, because he knew someone would celebrate a moment that mattered. Emma loved watching him, sometimes with tea, sometimes in silence. She watched the way the lamplight touched his face, the way he smiled when a cake finally matched the image in his mind. And one night, preparing another order, Lucas said softly, "On Dylan's birthday, there will always be the most delicious and beautiful cake." Emma smiled and asked gently, "And who is Dylan?" Lucas looked up. His eyes were calm, certain, warm. "That's our son," he said. And in that moment, Emma realized she was no longer afraid of the future. He proposed simply. No crowd, no stage. In the bakery kitchen, surrounded by vanilla and cinnamon. On a cake he made just for her, it read, "Emma, will you marry me?" She cried. He held her hands. And the world felt right. Their wedding was warm, simple, filled with family, laughter, and fresh flowers. The cake was his, the most beautiful he had ever made. But this time, he baked it not for clients, but for his life. When Emma walked toward him, he never looked away. Because he knew. This was love that doesn't run away. Love that stays. That bakes bread in the morning and cakes at night. That builds a home, quietly, forever. Dylan's birth, labor started at night. The world outside the window was quiet, as if it were holding its breath with me. I sat on the edge of the bed, holding my belly, feeling the pain come in waves. Not sharp, but steady, like the ocean that knows there's no turning back. Lucas woke up instantly. No panic, no unnecessary words. He knelt in front of me, pressed his forehead to my belly, and whispered, "We're with you, both of us." In the car, he held my hand so tightly that I knew I wouldn't break. At the hospital, there were bright lights, the smell of antiseptic, and soft footsteps of nurses. And through all of it, his voice, anchoring me. "Breathe with me, Emma. Slowly. I'm here." Hours stretched endlessly. The pain was strong, but not frightening, because I wasn't alone. At one point, through tears, I said, "I'm scared." Lucas leaned close to my ear. "I'm not, because you're stronger than you think. And he knows it." And when I heard the first cry, time stopped. Not loud, not perfect, but ours. They placed him on my chest. Warm, damp, real. He wrapped his tiny fingers around mine, as if he already knew me. I cried. Lucas cried. Our tears fell onto his small new life. "Hello, Dylan," Lucas whispered. "I'm your dad." He kissed my forehead, and in that moment, I knew. Every road, every fear, every pain led here. That night, the hospital room was quiet. Only tiny breaths and our hearts beating together. Lucas sat beside me, unable to take his eyes off Dylan, as if afraid to miss even 1 second. "He's perfect," he whispered. "To me, he is," I said. When Dylan cried, Lucas was the first to pick him up. "Careful, awkward, sacred. I'll learn," he whispered to his son. "I promise." I watched them and knew. This wasn't just the birth of a child. It was the birth of a family. A year has passed. Sometimes I wake up with a quiet sense of disbelief, as if I'm afraid it might all disappear if I open my eyes too fast. Morning begins with the smell of fresh bread. Lucas still wakes before everyone else. The bakery doesn't know weekends. He kisses my temple gently so he won't wake Dylan and whispers, "I'll be back soon." I still hear the door close. And I smile. Dylan is 1 year old today. He sits on the floor, deeply focused, trying to stack wooden blocks. His hair glows in the sunlight, and his eyes, the same ones Lucas has when he looks at me. I pick him up. He laughs, touches my face, as if checking that I'm real. And I think, how was I ever so afraid of this life? We live above the bakery. Evenings are always warm here, filled with the scent of vanilla, cinnamon, and freshly baked pastries. Sometimes Lucas brings home a cake, not perfect, not for an order, just for us. For life. He says he bakes differently now. Slower, with a deeper quiet inside. Because now I know who it's for, he smiles. That evening, we celebrate Dylan's birthday. Lucas's family fills the space, laughter, hugs, familiar voices. My father holds Dylan in his arms, and my mother quietly wipes away tears. The cake is simple and unforgettable. On it, just one word. One. Lucas lights the candle. I hold Dylan. We make a wish together. And I know. I don't ask for anything else. I already have everything. When the evening settles, it's just the three of us. Dylan falls asleep on my chest. Lucas covers us with a blanket. Are you happy? He asks softly. I look at him. At our home. At our life. Yes, I answer. Truly. And in that quiet, between warmth and love, I understand. Sometimes the end of one story is the beginning of the most beautiful one.